So one of the three fundamentals on the triangle of light is ISO. But how many people actually know what ISO is, what it stands for? It stands for International Standard of Organization, so which essentially means it is responsible for the quality of the image. But like in everything in photography, it has a flip side. Quality of image, but it allows more light, is less sensitive to light. And so therefore, the higher your ISO, what then happens is the less quality you have in your image. And what you find is a grain that comes onto your photograph. I'm Darren Donovan, a photographic guide and host for C4 Photo Safaris. And today, I'm going to talk to you about noise with ISO, but more importantly, I'm going to also explain about the new AI Denoise tools on two different platforms, Lightroom and DXO. All right, so what is noise? So noise is essentially an interference in the frequency between light and your sensor. So the higher the interference, the higher the ISO, the more that interference shows up as grain. So a good way of explaining it is we're going to have to go back a few years. But when you used to listen to the radio, and you often had a hissing sound. So the hissing sound was interference within the frequency from the radio waves to where your radio was. So now you liked a song that was playing on the radio. So you lifted the volume. The more you lifted the volume, the higher and the louder that hissing sound became as well, because it was an interference within that frequency from the radio waves to your hi-fi. It's exactly the same with ISO. The interference is there because there is not enough light getting onto the sensor, and so therefore that is affecting the frequency. So you want to have more light, you want to turn it louder. So what you do is you raise your ISO, which means that the hissing sound or the grain therefore becomes more apparent on the raw files. But maybe as little as 5 or 6 years ago, denoising an image was a real pain. And quite often you would overdo it and your images would come out looking waxy or plastic and just not realistic at all. You would turn up the luminance sliders and all that sort of thing to try and get rid of that grain as much as what you possibly could. But now you have really fantastic software that deals with it and deals with it effectively. So today, like I said, I'm going to show you how to use and explain the sliders and tick boxes within these two programs. So Lightroom, which has a fantastic denoiser within the details module, and then also DXO's PureRAW, which is also absolutely fantastic. So now I'm going to show you what noise looks like, but I'm also going to show you how to get rid of them using these two programs. All right, so the first one that I'm going to look at is Lightroom. So Lightroom has now on the top of the details module here on the main menu on the right-hand side, has brought in a denoise box just above the sharpening box. Right, so you have three tick boxes here. You've got denoise, raw details, and super resolution. So I'm going to explain what all of them do. So denoise is going to use AI to look and figure out where the grain is, get rid of the grain, and essentially create a nice smooth image that looks natural using AI as a reference to get that natural look. Right, so denoise, that's easy. Raw details is the AI looks for small errors in the fine textures. Now, the interesting thing is that you can't use raw details and super resolution with denoise. You can only use the one tick box at a time. This is one of the things that's a little annoying about the Adobe Lightroom denoise box. But essentially it goes in and it looks for any small errors, any colors that are not supposed to be there, like chromatic aberrations and things like that, Raw Details is going to find that and get rid of it. Okay. Then the third one is super resolution. Now this one's quite interesting because it essentially doubles the linear resolution of your image. So it can make your image 4 times larger. The only problem again, you can't use the two of them together. So you have to then do super resolution and after that do denoise. So it's a 2-step process. But if you have, for instance, a large crop that you have of a small bird or something like that, super resolution is going to be something that you can therefore get your big file size again for printing purposes if you want it. So those are the 3 tick boxes. So with the Adobe Denoise, it's a very simple concept. You can see here the image seen earlier with all the grain around here. This is shot at 12,800 ISO with a spotlight coming from the side and essentially creating this beautiful rim light around this lion. So it's a simple concept of tick the denoise box and bang, it gets there and you can see all that noise. The majority of that noise has been taken care of. So it's effective, it's quick, depending on the size of your computer is depending on how quick it is, but it's fast, it's user-friendly, and it does a damn fine job. So that is Lightroom, the 3 tick boxes, and it's a simple concept of just quickly get in there, tick the box for denoise, and bang, you're ready to go. All right, so PureRAW is a little bit different because what you have to do is you have to go and add the image into PureRAW, and you add it, it's as simple as that, okay? Select the image and then process with preview. So which will bring you up to this little workspace here. So the interesting thing here is if I take this and I go in 100%, right? And I just slide this little slider, any change on the right-hand side is going to be what you see or what is going to happen to your file. On the left-hand side is sort of before. So it's a before and after as you can slide. Okay, so the different sliders. Right, you've got a few options here. On the side, I've chosen to go with Deep Prime XD2S. But here are the little sliders that I was talking about. So the luminance slider is going to essentially control how waxy and plastic your image is going to come out. So exactly the same as what you would find with Lightroom. The luminance slider in the old days, as you went higher, so it became more and more plastic. Got rid of the grain, but it came at a cost. Right, so I generally tend to keep mine around about 20, but the default is 40, but if you go anything between 20 and 40, you still get a really good, nice, sharp, textured image out of it. Force details. So force details is the looking for noise within the fine detail aspects. So for instance, in this scenario, it would be around this hair and in between where you would have chromatic aberrations, you would have high contrast situations, and that's where that noise would be. Right, so this now tells the AI how hard to look for these little aberrations. So again, it comes at a cost. So I generally tend to keep mine between 10 and sort of 15 for the force details. We then get onto the optical corrections. So optical corrections, this is going to use AI to look for anything that you find within your lens that affects the quality of image. So often on some lenses you would have on the edges, it would not be as sharp as what it is in the center. And this uses those. So I generally tend to sort of tick all the boxes yes and go with it. But on the lens sharpness optimization, I generally go for the hard or strong for wildlife. So it takes it up to about 150, and what it's then going to do is it really sort of goes in for all that fine detail. You don't want to go any harder than that because then it's really going to start looking a little over sharpened. So if we take those 3 things that we changed and those three sliders, then it's literally, there's the before, look at the hairs, and look at after. and how it's sharpened it up. It's got rid of the grain that there was, and it's really made it good. And then from there on, it's a simple concept of process now. It said it's going to take approximately 13 seconds. Right, and then it comes up with a export to. So what it does now, and what PureRAW does, is it creates a DNG file, which you then just export to. I've selected Adobe Lightroom Classic, and so now from there I can just go and export, and it takes it directly into Lightroom. And there we go. So now all I have to do is import. You can see there the DNG file is created. And that, ladies and gentlemen, is how easy it is now to denoise an image. It's a huge difference from what it was 5 years ago. Right, so I do hope that you enjoyed this video and feel a little bit more enlightened about noise, and that you're not scared of noise like you might have been a little while ago. The software now for all of the denoising is really spectacular, and it makes a huge difference to the quality of images. If you've enjoyed this video, please like the video, subscribe to the channel, and all our new content will be coming your way. So as well, as this is our first video for 2026, I would like to take the opportunity from all of us here at C4 to wish everybody a fantastic and adventurous 2026 going forward. So I hope you enjoyed it, and I'll see you again.